One of the most common questions we get from homeowners is, what's the difference between epoxy and polyurethane? Most people hear those words during a foundation inspection or a repair estimate, but nobody really explains what they mean or why one might be better than the other, depending on the situation. The truth is, they're very different products designed for very different problems. So today, I want to break this down in a way that actually makes sense so you can better understand what's happening in your home and why choosing the right repair matters. The first thing to understand is that concrete cracks are incredibly common. Almost every home develops some type of cracking over time. Houses settle, soil moves, temperatures change, moisture levels rise and fall, concrete expands and contracts constantly. That damage creates stress, and eventually the concrete relieves that stress by cracking. Now, sometimes those cracks are purely cosmetic. Other times, they can point to a larger structural movement underneath the home. That's why the type of repair matters so much. Let's start with epoxy. Epoxy is basically a very strong structural resin. Once it cures, it becomes extremely hard and rigid. In many cases, epoxy is used when the goal is to restore structural integrity to the concrete itself. You can almost think of it like bonding the crack back together. The process itself is pretty detailed. The crack has to be cleaned thoroughly first so the material can properly bond to the concrete. Then, injection ports are placed along the crack and epoxy is pushed deep into the concrete under pressure so it can fully penetrate the damaged area. When it hardens, it creates a very durable repair that can withstand significant structural loads. That's why epoxy is commonly used for structural cracks where strength is the priority. But there's one important thing people need to understand. Epoxy is rigid. So if the concrete continues moving later, the crack can reopen or shift nearby because the repair itself doesn't flex with that movement. That's why epoxy works best in situations where the movement has already stabilized and moisture isn't an issue. Now, let's talk about polyurethane. Polyurethane works very differently. Instead of curing rigid like epoxy, polyurethane stays flexible after it cures. That flexibility allows it to move with the concrete over time, which makes it extremely useful for cracks that experience ongoing expansion and contraction. Another major difference is how it reacts during installation. When polyurethane is injected into a crack, it expands rapidly and fills tiny voids and gaps deep inside the concrete. That makes it especially effective for sealing cracks and helping with water intrusion issues. And unlike epoxy, polyurethane performs very well in wet conditions. That's one of the reasons it's commonly used in situations where water seepage is present and where the environment isn't completely dry. It also cures much faster than epoxy, which can be a huge advantage depending on the project timeline. Now, homeowners always ask us, so which one is better? Honestly, neither one is universally better. It completely depends on the problem you're trying to solve. If you're dealing with a structural crack where restoring strength is the main priority, epoxy is often the right solution. If you're dealing with movement, flexibility concerns, or moisture intrusion, polyurethane is usually the better option. That's why a proper inspection matters so much. At Dalinghaus Construction, we don't just look at the crack itself, we look at what's caused it. Is the soil moving? Is moisture involved? Is the structure still settling? Is the crack active or dormant? Because treating symptoms without understanding the cause is how temporary repairs happen. A lot of homeowners also ask about cost. Generally speaking, epoxy tends to cost more because it's designed for structural performance and long-term durability. Polyurethane is often a little more budget-friendly and works incredibly well for non-structural applications and sealing water intrusion. But ultimately, the goal isn't choosing the cheapest repair. The goal is choosing the right repair for your specific home. If you're noticing cracks in your garage, driveway, foundation, or walls, the best thing you can do is get them evaluated before they become bigger issues. Some cracks are minor. Others can be early warning signs of bigger movement happening beneath the surface. At Dalinghaus Construction, we help homeowners throughout Southern California, Arizona, and Nevada understand what's really happening with their homes so they can make informed decisions with confidence. If you have any questions about cracks, settlement, or foundation movement, contact us today for a free inspection. I'm Justin with Dalinghaus Construction, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next home improvement guide.